Hi, my name's Tony Ruby. I work in the Grantham and surrounding area, and I live on Gunnerby Hillfoot in Grantham. And I love Grantham so much, as I'm sure you do too, that I want to tell the world just how awesome Grantham is. So I want to share with you some true heroes of Grantham and tell you their stories of how they're coping through these unprecedented times and unparalleled times, and why the people of Grantham have taken them to the hearts. Today, I'm with Garon Harrison, the owner and founder of a company called GWH Flooring Services, and he serves the Grantham and surrounding villages and towns. Morning, Garon, how are you?
Good morning, Tony. Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Oh, you've taken to sitting out in the garden, have you?
Yes, it's a nice day, so making the most of it. Been trapped in with the kids for a few days, so
yeah,
it's nice to get a bit of peace and time to myself.
Yeah, indeed. These little moments of serenity when you can grab them, eh?
Yeah, certainly.
So tell me, Garon, what is it you love about Grantham?
Well, what's not to love? Firstly, mainly I like the location of Grantham. I think it's ideally situated. Great links to the near cities of Nottingham, Peterborough, Lincoln. I mean, you could even be in London within an hour. I mean, that's fantastic. You couldn't even drive across London in an hour.
No.
So I think that's one of the main appeals to me, that draws me to Grantham, and it's a good place to get around when you work there as well.
Yeah. And what is it? Sorry, go on.
Amongst other things as well, it's got lots to offer. For a family man like myself, you've got Belton Park, where you can take the kids. You've got Harloxton Castle, Grimsford Castle's not too far away. It's loads to offer. Yeah,
Beaver Castle, Harloxton Manor, some lovely places around, isn't it? I was saying this on another one. Don't think sometimes we realise how lucky we are to have these things on our doorstep.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely, and it certainly comes in handy when you've got 3 young boys that need to burn off a bit of steam.
Indeed. So what is it you like about the Grantham people?
Ooh. Tough one. No. It's an easy one, really. I think they're honest, passionate, and they're great people to get on with, to be honest.
Good stuff.
They've been very supportive of me over the last few years, even through some very trying times. But they're just genuinely lovely people. They're ones that I've come across in the last 20 years or so.
I think the local people really do take local businesses to heart, and I think what people do remember is that mantra of when you're using a local company to do your flooring, when you're using a local company to do your decorating, when you're using a local company to do your gardening, whatever it might be, you're putting food on the table for that family and not money into big fat cats' corporate pockets. And I think that's brilliant. I think that's what's brilliant about Grantham people.
100%. They've been, like I say, they've been very supportive of me over the last 20 years or so, and I think that's because the small businesses like myself, we don't earn the big bucks like certain shops, but I think the all-round service is better. You're talking to people that know what they're doing. They've done it for 20 years, whereas some of these big chain shops, in my experience, they haven't got the knowledge that we've got. And I think it speaks volumes when you speak to people and they buy into you and they trust you, and eventually they let you into the home to do the carpets, flooring, or whatever. And the most prized asset, I mean, it's a big compliment for me.
Yeah, I heartily agree. I think actually with what you're saying there, it rings true in a lot of industries and trades, doesn't it? You know, the real quality of a carpet fitter or a decorator or a joiner or a roofer is all about their experience, their mastery of that particular skill. And when you're taking on somebody who's to do a job in your own home, like you said, your biggest prized asset, I think it's interesting that actually what they're employing is the quality and the years of experience and all the mistakes that have been made, because you will have made mistakes since the day you started carpet fitting and flooring fitting, I'm sure. But all those mistakes have already been made.
It's the only way we learn, by making mistakes. I mean, luckily, I don't make many now, if any. I made all my mistakes when I was younger. So, but I've certainly learnt from him, and I'm a better person for it.
Grand stuff. Great stuff. And the people of Grantham and the surrounding area, I mean, they've certainly taken you to their heart over the course of the years with your flooring services. I mean, why do you think that is?
I would like to think it's because I provide a good service. I'm honest, reliable. I'm not the most expensive in town. I know that. I'm not the cheapest, but I think genuinely, and it might not be the right term to say myself, but I'm value for money. I don't think there's many, if anybody, that can offer the value that I've got with the services and the products that I supply.
And do you think the value for money comes from not having the big flash sort of high street shop, so you can give the savings that you don't have those operating costs to your clients?
Yeah, that's. I mean, that is a big saving, which does help, because I don't employ people as such on the books. It's just me, and if I get a big enough job, I'll subcontract things out to my brother, who taught me the trade all those years ago. But yeah, it's something that I've stayed away from for now, not having a shop. I mean, it's something that I'd like to do in the future, but as of now, if it isn't broke, why change it?
Yeah, that's a great mantra to have. And I think, well, obviously these uncertain times give you different sort of viewpoints on things, don't they? When you sort of have a chance to stand there now and reflect on what you've achieved over the course of your working career, and you think about how that could be so very different if you did have an high street shop right now and staff who depend on you. It could be a very different scenario when something like this comes up, which is very unparalleled and unprecedented, isn't it?
Well, yeah, certainly. And as you mentioned, in a sense, I'm fortunate that I haven't got a high street shop. We're still having to pay rents, we're still having to pay staff. My heart goes out to those people that have and still have to do that. So
yeah, it's
fair
tough
play to them, and I wish them all of the best. But luckily, I do my stuff from home, out in the van essentially. I have a garage full of samples, and that's the big bonus for me at the time, that I've not got those extra overheads. But yeah.
And you mentioned about your brother. I mean, tell me a bit about your family.
Well, first of all, we'll start with my brother. He taught me the trade from the age of 13. I used to go out on weekends and school holidays because I was bored. I was either playing football or I was out working with my brother, and he was a tough person to work for and a tough person to impress, but he's got high standards, which as a 13-year-old, when working for somebody like that, it's not the most appealing. We had a rows, but looking back now, those values and those standards that he instilled in me at such a young age have not only given me standards and values in my job, but it's given me standards and values in everything I do. So I wouldn't swap it. Really, I was very lucky to work with him and be taught the skills that I've got the way that I have been. But yeah, he's been doing the trade for 30 years now. So he started off at a small local firm in Sleaford, but yeah.
Yeah, and what about a bit closer to home? Obviously you have 3 children, and your wife, of course.
Yeah, I've been with my wife now coming up to 11 years. Personally, I'm not quite sure how she survived those 11 years, but
no, me neither.
She's a true hero.
Yeah, indeed.
We've got 3 fantastic boys. We've got Lucas that's 9, Max that's 6, and Logan that's 18 months. And undoubtedly, Logan is probably the most feral out of the 3 currently, but they're all lovely little boys in their own right. So I wouldn't swap it for the world.
Different times for kids at the moment as well, isn't it? Having daddy and mummy at home so much at the minute. I know obviously your wife is classed as a key worker, so therefore she's out and about doing her thing still. But it must be a strange time for the kids. So I look back onto your own times. You think about the only extended breaks you really had was summer holidays. But my parents had to work, so I was always shipped off to here, there, and everywhere to be sort of looked after. So to be one-on-one with daddy for so long, or one-on-one with mummy for so long. It's different times, isn't it, for the kids?
It certainly is. It certainly is. But although it is difficult times and it is very worrying times, I'm making the most of being at home with my boys, because I like you say, my wife she works in the care sector, so it's just left down to daddy really, and we're enjoying it. I'm going grey because of it at times, but it's moments like these that I don't usually get, because I'm usually out working 10, 12, 14 hours a day. So it's nice. It's nice to be able to get it, but hopefully we'll soon all be back to normal, and I'll be back out at it. But until then, I shall be enjoying the time at home with the boys.
Sure. I've developed this mantra over the course of years, because as you know, I've always been ribbed for going grey. But the biggest mountains always have snow on the top, mate.
Exactly. I'm not the smallest mountain.
So just a little bit about the services that you offer then. What do you offer your clients?
Sorry, that cut out for a second there.
Sorry, okay. Just a little bit about the services that you offer to your clients, Garon.
Oh, yes. Well, obviously I do carpets, flooring, laminates, domestic and commercial. We offer a service where we'll come and visit you in the comfort of your own home, so you don't have to leave the house on the cold, dark nights or the snowy days. We'll come to you and provide a choose at home service, which I think, in my experience, a lot of people prefer, because it takes a bit of the stress of not having to drive into town to get stuck in the traffic jams and such and such. And if someone like ourselves comes to you, it's a little bit more appealing, I believe. So,
well, I reckon it's also got to be good for you, hasn't it? I mean, to be able to go and see the job in hand, rather than just going by somebody's measurements who's walked into a shop, perhaps.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, we regularly get customers that get in touch with myself. So I've got a lounge this size by this size. What would you charge for a carpet and underlay and fitting? And you can give a rough guide by them sizes, but ultimately it is best to get somebody out to come and look at the job properly. Then you know what the job is in hand. It might be a nice, easy square lounge. It might be something a little bit more taxing. So, and then you can price the job accordingly. And ultimately, the best bit of that is you can get to go out and meet your customer face to face and start to build up a bit of a rapport, so they can start to buy. You can buy into each other. So you know, I suppose, if they're genuine, and they know, if you're, more importantly, they know that I'm honest and genuine too. So
I think when you can demonstrate that you can listen to what they want, and you can sort of offer a solution, because that's ultimately what you're doing, is looking for solutions for their flooring arrangements, isn't it? People then, I think you buy into individuals, don't you? You build relationships. Whichever way you look at it, it's a relationship business, I think. And what you want to do, I suppose, is create a client for life, don't you?
100%. All clients that I get to work for, there's no. Whereas with some companies, I think the best way you can put it, if you're spending £10,000 in their shop, they'll probably treat you a little bit better than somebody that's spending £200. For me, £200, £10,000, you all get. Everybody gets treated the same, because ultimately, if I'm successful in winning the business, the money is helping me support my family, and for that, you can't put a price on that. Everybody always has and always will get treated the same.
Yeah, and what do you find about? I mean, do you get many referrals for business?
Yeah, I do get a lot of referrals from old customers, from friends, from family as well, obviously. But we could always do with more. And always trying to find new ways to get our names out there. We're on Facebook and in Instagram at the minute. And
so, if I wanted to find you on Facebook and like your page, what would I search for?
GWH Flooring on Facebook. There is actually two GWH Flooring. One's a limited company with a picture of a van. That's not me. mine's just GWH flooring, and my profile picture is of pictures of jobs that I've done that I post regularly, and then make posts and put them out to the whole of the country to see it, essentially.
Good stuff.
Sort of thing, and I get a lot of business from that. Usually when I post on there, it's probably get two or three people that will get in touch because they like what they see, and I think because I do that, and I'm confident in my ability to do the job, I'll go toe to toe with anybody. And the fact that you put yourself out there, essentially on social media, which is a fantastic thing, and it's supporting my business so much. Mm-hmm. But also, you are leaving yourself open to people that want to try and destroy that, the keyboard warriors and such. And I've luckily not had that. So, and
well, that says plenty about you, I think, Garon. I mean, I've certainly seen your work, and I've certainly had you do some work in my house, and I would recommend you to anybody, friend, family, foe, whoever it might be. I think you've developed a great reputation. I think what I've always seen as well is on your posts, or on people's posts on some of the selling pages, who are basically sort of putting a plea out there. Anybody recommend a flooring fitter or a carpet fitter or whatever. I've always seen your name get tagged by people. So again, that says a lot, I think, about what you've built over the time that you've been operating.
Yeah, certainly. And still, I mean, I've been doing it many years. I mean, I've only been on social media for probably 2.5 years now, but regarding my business. But every time I get tagged or my company gets tagged, it's overwhelming because I'm quite popular on Facebook with the recommendations for the job, and it's nice to see, and it makes it all worthwhile a little bit more. That people will recommend you for work and things like that, and it's nice. And I think up until recently, I spoke to one customer, and she'd done a bit of research and typed in Facebook in the local areas, and I was one of, if not the top person for recommendations on there at that time. So, I mean, that changes probably weekly, but
the thing is, I think the world today, you can review anything, can't you? You can go and have a look. Before you buy anything on Amazon, you can see what people think, good, bad, and indifferent. You can see what people think about restaurants, good, bad, and indifferent. And quality reviews from your clients are very important, I think, aren't they, in helping other unknown, anonymous customers right now form an opinion on whether they want to engage with you in the first place. And that's half the challenge, isn't it? Yeah.
Certainly. I mean, I've got reviews on my page. I've got 5-star. I'm actually rated 5 out of 5. So again, I think that speaks testament to what I'm all about. But it's nice when you get the reviews. I mean, customers don't always leave them because they've got busy lives themselves. So
yeah. But
no, it's nice when people take the time out, because it shows that they really do appreciate what you do, and obviously they're impressed with what I'll provide. So,
just moving on slightly, is there anything you could tell me that's interesting about Grantham that people might not know?
In what sort of way are you requiring? I mean, obviously most people know that Margaret Thatcher's from Grantham. Isaac Newton went to King's School. Most people know that. Is it them kind of facts that you're after?
What would be the one that you think people don't know?
The one that, and I only recently learned this a year or so ago when I went on a camping trip and we went to a steam engine place, but Grantham had the first running steam engine in the country in 1862.
Goodness me, you have learned something there, haven't you?
Yeah, so that was nice to know. I mean, Grantham has a bit of oldies, not much, but much happens there. But I was surprised by that. I mean, with it being such a small market town, but something big like that look at it now. There's diesel engines everywhere. So the fact that it started in Grantham is quite makes you feel quite proud, I suppose.
Yeah, was that a Hornsby and Ruston thing?
I believe it was, yes.
Okay, just testing your knowledge there.
I believe
Okay.
it was, but yes.
In your industry, what do you think's been the biggest change in the 20 years you've been involved in the flooring industry in terms of customers' wants and hopes from their flooring?
I think that the wants and hopes, I think that they've generally stayed the same. People want a good job, people want quality, and they want value for money. I don't think that'll ever change. The thing that has changed a lot since I started 25 years ago as a 13-year-old young man, there's a lot less of the family-run businesses on the high street, which is quite sad to see, because I mean, without them businesses, I wouldn't be where I am now. And yeah, that's the biggest step. But I think people now are wanting more a service where you go out to take your samples, and which 25 years ago, that's what it was. That they came out to you and you had a shop, and that's all probably the values that I've got now. But yeah, I think people are going online more to find what they need, rather than going straight to your big retailers, because it's your Allies or your Carpet Rights or this, that, and the other. And they're doing a bit of research. So
what about the flooring types that you're putting down into people's houses? How much has that changed? You know, like in kitchens and bathrooms and lounges and stuff. Has there been much of a change in the last 2 decades on that front?
In the last 2 decades, well, when I started, it was kitchen wise. It was solely vinyl carpet or gel packed carpet or flow textures, but you'd put in the kitchen. But nowadays, people are having laminates, they're having ceramic tiles, they're having LVT, which is luxury vinyl tile. It's forever changing, and we're forever learning. I mean, the day that I think that I've learned it all will probably be the day that I'd have to stop, because I don't think I ever will. But I'll still do my best to learn as much as possible.
Yeah.
Carpet wise, in the last 20 years, there used to be a lot of Axminsters, which is by far the biggest and probably most popular carpet manufacturer in the country. But sadly, from what I believe, they're not having a good time of it at the moment.
Right.
They're, I think they're due to go into liquidation, which isn't nice to hear. But people, unfortunately, I mean, Axminsters is a superb company that offer the best carpet around, but people have, sadly for them, have gone away from that, because styles change and decors change every probably 5 to 10 years. People probably aren't looking for a carpet that's going to last them 40 to 50 years. Now the one, because although they are nice, some of the patterns can be a bit garish, and they're not easy to change styles with. So, which is it's sad to see the decline, but I suppose it's a sign of the times.
So they've not really moved with the times, is what you're sort of suggesting there, really?
Not as probably much as they should have done, because it's a value product and it's a superb product. But no, in my opinion, they probably haven't.
Okay.
But it's Axminsters as well are probably more the more for a certain generation, I would say, and it's the older generation I tend to find that'll have it, because in their head it's peace of mind. They've got the job done, and it's going to last them 30 to 40 years as long as they look after it. So
yeah,
they don't have to worry about it. So, but the younger generation nowadays, they like something a bit more bright, vibrant, and colourful, because, like I say, the styles and decors are forever changing. So
sure. So, if there's one thing you would change about Grantham, what would it be? And if there's one thing you could keep the same about Grantham, what would it be?
If I could change one thing in Grantham, I'd like to see the high street more vibrant, because I think over the years you drive down there now and there's a lot of empty shops. Well, I don't know what could be done to make this easier and more appealing to people that want to set up a business and have a space on the high street. But I certainly remember 20 odd years ago when I used to go shopping in and around Grantham with my parents. You walk down High Street, it was always bustling and lots of people around. And I'd like to see them days back, to be honest. But how that can be changed and addressed, then that's something that's a little bit above my pay grade. But I'll leave that for the powers that be.
Yeah. And what about the one thing you keep the same?
The people are they're just fantastic. They should be proud of their town, and they are. And like I say, they're lovely. They're buying to the small businesses. So I just hope the people never change.
Fantastic. And this kind of leads me on to my next question, which wasn't set up. But I mean, what would be the one word you use to describe Grantham people?
Passionate.
Okay, great. And I've got one last teaser question. This one's really going to wet the whistle for many people, I'm sure. When this is all over and we're back to normality and you can sort of take your freedom and go out whenever you want to, you know, I think we've taken freedom for granted for too long. What is the first thing you're going to do?
The first thing I think I will be doing, as long as the weather permits, I should be going straight down to my local butchers, Ancaster Butchers, and probably getting a few of their superb meats and having a big barbecue and inviting my friends and family around. Because one thing I've missed at the minute is my friends and my family. You don't realise how much they mean to you until times like this occur. So that's the first thing I'll be doing. And then I'll probably go down for a few pints at the local Ancaster Sports and Social Club as well, to be fair. But it's uncertain times at the minute. Then the thing that I think my wife and my boys more so, they like the adventure play park at Belton Park there. So once that's all up and running, because I believe that's closed in a minute, we should be going straight there and letting off some much needed steam. Because although I've got a garden, it's not an adventure playground, and it's just not as exciting for them. So yeah.
No, indeed. I think video calls are all very well and good, aren't they? But there's nothing quite like sort of just giving your mates a cuddle when you see them. Just whatever. It's just very different, isn't it? It's just not.
100%. It's hard. I've got a very close friend at the minute. She's going through a very tough time, and the fact that I can't be there for her to give her that hug and give her a bit of reassurance, it makes your heart bleed. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't agree with you more on that. Well, Garon, it's been fantastic. Thank you very, very much for your time today.